Now, on the next day, on February 5th, we have our big opening. Again, we mark everything up 30%, number one, plus the markup. This is our new thing. Auto World Us now offers a sales discount of $430 net 60. What that means, let's go back to my notes. When we have a sales discount, discounts are always stated a certain way, or usually they are. A discount is usually stated something, and we'll use some of the same terms here. We'll use $430 net 60. They don't have to be this. It could be something like $210 net 30. All this means, the first number is the amount of the discount. So in this case, they get a 4% possible discount. The next number, 30, is how long do they get? They get 30 days to receive discount. 30 days payment due to receive discount. And then the net 60. The net 60 simply means that the full bill, the full total, is due in 60 days. So if you don't take advantage of the discount, paying within 30 days, then your total bill is due in 60 days before maybe late fees come in or interest comes in or penalty of some sort. That's what that is saying. So when we break it down, 4% discount if paid in 30 days. Otherwise, full payment is due in 60 days. Now, those numbers can be anything that the seller chooses. They don't have to do anything. They could make it whatever. So another one could be $210 net 30. If you pay within 10 days, you get a 2% discount. Otherwise, your full bill is due in 30 days. That's what this is saying. Okay, let's start working this one out. Now, off to the side, I think it's always good to make little notes. Make little notes on how much in sales are we collecting? How much in sales tax payable are we having to collect? What's the possible discount if needed? So we have our grand opening. We're selling a Cadillac to some other retailer. Sales tax is 5%. All right, so we mark everything up 30%. Let's go back up and see what the Cadillac cost me. The Cadillac cost me $22,000. I mark it up 22%. Okay, so let's do the math. Sales, take your base price, times 1 plus the markup. In this case, we keep having the same markup. The markup is 30%. So 1 plus 0.3 goes here. Now, if we just bring up our calculator, got 22,000 times 1.3. This tells me I'm making a sale, 28,600. Sales tax, all right, let's get that. Sales tax is still 5%. That comes out to be 1,430. And then the discount, notice here I tell us that Auto World offers a sales discount on the base price. Now the base price is simply this. They're not going to give a discount on the sales tax as well. So when we figure up the possible discount, that's why I put a question mark. So we're going to put question marks around this because we don't know if they're going to pay it or not. But if they do, I want to know how much discount they're going to get. So I take the 28.6 and multiply by 0.4%. So I'm going to potentially give them $1,144 discount if they pay on time. And that's off their entire bill. And so that means I'm going to add in to see what they actually owe me when I add these two together. And then if they get the discount, this is what they're going to get. I'm basically calculating this ahead of time, and then we'll see if they end up earning it or not, if they achieve it. All right, so what am I getting? This is what I'm going to be putting into my T accounts as well. I'm getting a promise to be paid for the $28,600 plus the sales tax that they owe. So I'm getting an account receivable from my customer. I'm going to make a AR from this account, AR number 2, company number 2, whoever they are, on 2-5. And I'm going to show that they owe me $30,030. When you add up my cost, the revenue, plus the IRS's cost, the sales tax, and that's what our two credits are. Where did the AR come from? So we need to put that into our T accounts as well. So on 2-5, we make sales revenue of $28,600. And we have sales tax on 2-5 of $1,430. Notice I'm not putting in the discount yet. I don't know if they're going to get the discount. They only get the discount if they pay within 30 days. And on February 5th, I don't know if they're going to pay within 30 days. Now, we're not done yet. What we have to do is now take out of our inventory the cost of that Cadillac. That Cadillac cost me and is on my books for 22 grand. I need to show that it's now gone. I need to show that the cost of that Cadillac was 22 and then expense that cost out, and then show that I no longer have it in my inventory. So my inventory 2-5, I'm going to credit 22 grand. And then come over to my cost of goods sold on 2-5 and debit 22 grand. From a retailer's point of view, you're going to see that just like when I bought the computers, it was very minimal. All I did is show that A, I got computers, and B, how did I get it? They're going to do the same thing. And instead, they're another retailer. So instead of them calling it a car or an auto, they're going to call it that they're buying inventory from us. They're buying inventory for whatever it costs them to buy it. It costs them $30,030, and then they would put on their books an account payable that they owe us $30,030. Now we come down to part 6, and it says, okay, the other retailer paid us the bill. They definitely, if it was on February 5th, they definitely paid within 30 days. So they get that $1,144 discount. Now, how that works as a journal entry, what we need to do is figure out, okay, go back to what do they owe me? They owe me this, but they now have earned that discount. So now, instead of them owing me $30,030, make this a negative and add in the $30,030. They owe me, with the discount, only $28,886. So when they write a check, I'm going to be getting cash for $28,886. So I come up to cash on 2-16 and put in that they are paying me $28,886. Now, the biggest thing where a lot of people mess up is they want to come down here and put as a credit 28,886, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that because that would still leave a balance. It would show that they still owe me $1,144, but they don't. I gave them a discount. They don't owe me anything. They paid off their entire bill. So to show that they paid off their entire bill, I have to credit the entire $30,000, even though they didn't pay it to me. So the extra piece to make the debits equal the credits is we have to come over and show that I gave them a discount. Come up to our new account underneath our revenues, come down to sales discount, and on 2-16, a discount was earned of $1,144. Now, looking at it, so that as part of our notes, when we were doing discounts, I said there's a difference depending on who you are, on how you're going to be journalizing this. If you're the seller, we use the sales discount, a contra revenue account. If you're the buyer, it's called a purchase discount, but how we do it is we reduce the asset that was purchased. So the asset that was purchased, if I look back over, we purchased inventory. So we're going to be reducing the cost of that inventory for the other retailer. It didn't cost them $30,030, so they don't want it on their books for that much. They want to show simply that A, they're getting rid of their liability. They paid off their bill, so they want it to be down to zero. They wrote a check for $28,886. The final piece being a credit to inventory. That actual asset that they bought, they need to lower the cost because it didn't cost them as much. They need to bring it down by $1,144. All right, the final new thing that we're going to look at is we put everything together, and the only new thing that we have is we want to see how is shipping involved. How do we handle shipping? How does shipping affect anything? So if we go back to the notes, when we have shipping, our number 3 item, remember when it's FOB shipping point, there is no shipping expense to anybody. The buyer includes it into their cost of the asset, and the seller simply adds it into the customer's bill, the amount that was paid to the shipper. When it's FOB destination, then we do have a shipping expense, and for the seller only. The buyer, when it's FOB destination, they don't even know what the shipping cost is. It's not relevant to them. All right, so using our same example from number 5 and 6, the only thing that's different is the terms are FOB shipping point because we need to ship the item. We need to ship that car, and it's going to cost us $1,200 to ship that car up to wherever it's got to go. Terms FOB shipping point. That means, think of it like this. Remember that I kind of switched up the terminology a little bit. Let's call it free to the buyer all the way to the shipping point. So that's not very good. That means the buyer ends up paying the shipping. So if I go back up to my number 5, and I go back up to my work, on number 5, everything's the same except now there's shipping involved. And the shipping is $1,200. So before, without the shipping, it was $30,030 total that the buyer owed me. Now the buyer, since it's FOB shipping point, also owes me $1,200 because of the shipping costs. So the buyer, instead of the AR being $30,030, it's now $31,230. So the buyer is going to come down here and debit $31,230. The next credits are going to be identical. They're still having a sales revenue, $28,600, just like number 5. They're still having sales tax, $1,430, because you only tax on the amount of the sale price. But then the last credit, to make everything balanced, because right now we do not equal, because that 31,230 includes more than just these two. It includes that the seller, I owe the delivery company, just like how I owe the IRS money. Now, it's not my money. It's it's the customer's money. They're just paying me, and then I'm paying the IRS. Same thing here. The customer is essentially paying me, and then I'm paying the delivery company that $1,200. So the AP is treated very similarly to the sales tax payable. So everything's the same, so I don't need to adjust anything except I need to increase this. I need to increase my AR from 30,000 to up to 31,230. If that's what really happened. And then you'll see that I'll change this in just a second. But I also then need to put in the AP, and let's call my wages payable, let's call this AP shipping company. And on 2-5, I just increased my what I owe the shipping company, $1,200, because the buyer is going to pay for that. Now you'll see that the second entry is no change. It's exactly what it was before, $22,000. It didn't cost me anything more to sell the vehicle with that extra shipping. So I don't need to change anything to my cost of goods sold. It's already at $22,000 from number 5 above. The only thing different now on how the buyer would handle this is they would simply up their cost. Because remember, back to my notes, when you are buying something, you include all the costs to get the item ready to use or sell. And that includes not only potential sales tax, but it also includes shipping that you, the buyer, have to pay. How this one is now different is when the terms are now FOB destination. FOB destination, remember the term, let's think of it as free to the buyer. Shipping is free to the buyer all the way until it gets to their store, so they don't have to pay anything. That means it's on me as the seller, the cost. So now I'm right back. The buyer only pays me for the sale price and the sales tax. So I just go right back to my AR. Let's make this, turn it back to 30,030. If we're assuming now number 8 is what really happened, and that's what, let's go ahead and assume that. And that's where we're going to keep it. Now, the difference then, I still have a shipping payable. I still owe the shipping company $1,200. It's just, where did the $1,200 come from? And you'll see that it came from me. It came from my pocket. It's my bill that I have to, and nobody's paying me back. So instead of the extra $1,200 going here, the extra $1,200, it's still here as a credit. But now we come over to my expense, and we'll call this shipping expense. For 12-5 for the $1,200. And you can see the cost of the other retailer is back to where it originally was in number 5, because they don't know about the shipping. It's not their cost. Okay, we got one more example, and we're going to tie everything together here. Number 9. Number 9, we're not going to worry about doing it from both perspectives. We're just going to do it from our perspective. On number 9, we're going to make a sale of the Ford Mustang to Paul. And then we're going to show what would it have been if full payment was made the 24th. And then further down, we're going to show what would it have been if full payment was made on the 17th instead of the 24th. So what I would like you to do is, let's see how well you've got this down. Take the next 5 to 10 minutes and try to do just Auto World, do the sale and the cost of goods sold part, and then show the payment on the 24th, what that would have looked like. And then we'll see how close you were to the answer. So go ahead and pause now, and then in just a few seconds we'll go through. All right, let's go through this answer. What I like to do, again, is off to the side or just down below, let's start listing out all the costs added up that the customer is going to be owing me if I make the sale. So, of course, they're going to owe me my sales revenue. I mark everything up 30%, so I need to go up and see what the Ford Mustang cost me. It cost me $17,000. So sales revenue is $17,000, and then times 1 times the markup, or one, not 1 times, but 1 plus the markup. Okay, so we've got 17,000 times 1.3. I'm selling the car. It has a sticker price of $22,100. That means I'm going to collect sales tax at 5%. So let's multiply that by 5%. That's $1,105. And then we have shipping terms. FOB shipping point. That means free to the buyer only until it gets to the shipper's point. The buyer then has to pay everything else. So we're going to be reimbursed for that. So I'm going to tack that on to the buyer's bill. Shipping, buyer, $800. So the buyer, when I add everything up, $22,100, my price plus the sales tax, plus the plus the UPS fee, the register would have rang up $24,005. That's what they owe me. So that's going to be the account receivable. Well, before we even do that, that's what they are going to owe me. That's good. We can write that down. Let's put that off to the side here, maybe just as a note. Let's put in here what the discount is going to be. I always like to get that calculated before we forget. And I'm not going to put that over here with this price. I'm going to kind of put it over here by itself. The discount. So we offer a 610 net 30 on the base price, not including any sales tax or any shipping. So just on the 22,100. So 22,100 at 6%. I'm willing to give them $1,326 off if they pay within 10 days. Because I want the money to do whatever with. I want to have that money, not just it laying out there coming later. Okay, so now let's start in on the journal entry. My customer owes me on February the 10th, $24,005. Let's put it into our journal entry. Let's just call this AR number 3, or AR in this case, Paul. -10, $4,005. Then I simply need to show where that $24,005 came from, and it came from these 3 things. So these 3 are my credit. That's why it helps just go ahead and list them out. So we had sales revenue, sales tax payable, and finally, that I owe the shipping company $800 once the customer pays me. So I've got sales revenue on 2-10 of $24,005. Nope, sorry, $22,100. I've got sales tax payable on 2-10 that I owe of $1,105. And finally, shipping in my liability section on 2-10 of $800. So that's part one. Now I'm ready for part two to show that I actually got rid of the Ford Mustang. So the Ford Mustang cost me 17 grand. I need to show that it's now out of my inventory of 17 grand. So debit cost of goods sold on 2-10 for 17 grand. Credit my inventory for 17 grand. All right, now it comes down to on the 24th. That's when payment is made. I need to see if the discount is applied. The discount says they get a 6% if paid in 10 days. 10 days would be February 20th. We're now on the 24th. They don't get a discount. So the full payment is simply what they owe. So on this date, on 2-24, they're going to pay me and reduce their bill by the full $24,005, and then show on 2-24 that I'm getting $24,005, no discount. And that's what my journal entry would look like, no discount. But then I said, well, what if they did pay me on the 17th? What would the entry have looked like? The entry would have simply shown that they still get off of their bill the full $24,005 because they don't owe me anything. I want their AR to be 0. I want this to be 0. Now let's pretend that the 17th is the actual. So on 2-17, they are paying me what I figured up here as the discount. Remember, we figured that out as $13.26. So they're paying me $13.26 less. So if we take the $13.26 and then take that away from the $24,005, they're paying me $22,679. So let's change this to $22,679. And then let's show that they had a discount on 2-17 for the $13.26. Final piece here, if the Toyota Prius had been returned, because I allow them to return it within 30 days. So let's go all the way back to our Toyota Prius, way back up here to number 3. Number 2, actually. We sold the Prius. When there's a return, remember what we do is we simply reverse the entire journal entry and call this, instead of sales revenue, when we reverse it and debit it, we call it a sales return. So we're going to debit our sales return for $18,200. We're going to then debit the sales tax that was collected because we're giving that money back. And then we're taking it off of the customer's bill. So when we come over to look at the customer's bill, we're taking away on 2-28 the $19,110, so their balance is 0. And when we do that, we're going to have a sales return on 2-28 for $18,200, and we're going to get rid of our sales tax on 2-28. We no longer owe $19.10 because we gave that back to the customer. And then we come over and on 2-28, we're going to debit 14 grand. And then we're going to credit our cost of goods sold. We're going to credit cost of goods sold for that for that 14,000 on 2-28. That is how we would do a return if it was us getting the return as a seller. Everything flipped and then putting it where it needs to go.